The moon in the year 2257.
Several massive mining machines stand tall on the plains. Compared to them, the lunar rovers small like toys. The rovers loaded with cargo are heading towards a giant dome.
There is a bustling lunar mining colony under the dome, full of workers.
In 7 minutes, a meteor shower is about to hit.
The colony detects the danger and seals of the entire dome area.
A boy named Caleb takes advantage of the chaos, stealing a lunar rover with his friends.
Why are they stealing a rover? Hi everyone, welcome to Happy Movie.
Today, we are going to watch movie Crater.
Caleb's mother died early. He was raised by his father.
Recently, his father died in a work-related accident. The mine supervisor calls Caleb to the office to discuss compensation. According to the contract, after a worker dies at the mine, their family can immigrate to another planet called Omega for free.
It's a distant habitable planet, clean and sparsely populated, a paradise for the wealthy.
In a few days, a spaceship will depart from the moon.
Then Caleb can settle for Omega.
However, Caleb is not happy about it and questions if he can refuse, because the journey to Omega takes 75 years, and he has to be in stasis the entire time. When he wakes up, all his friends will have died, meaning he'll never see them again.
But this benefit is mandatory and cannot be refused.
No one has refused it before. After all miners work on the moon for decades just to let their families immigrate to Omega.
She personally also wished Caleb not to waste the opportunity. Caleb sits gloomily, looking at the horizon of the moon.
He and his father used to sit here when his father was still alive.
Back then, his father pointed to a moon crater on the map. He said he used to sneak in there to play when he was dating Caleb's mother.
A wonderful and secret place.
His father never said what was in the crater, only promising to take Caleb there when he grew up for sightseeing. Caleb's thoughts returned to reality, filled with regret, because his father never fulfilled that promise before his death. Now, he's going to Omega, and the chance to visit the crater is gone. While Caleb is in anguish, his 3 friends come to accompany him.
They are Dylan, Bonnie, and Marcus.
They sit together and discuss. They all think Caleb's biggest regret is not being able to visit the crater. Luckily, there are still 3 days before the launch, so there's time.
As for how to get there,
they just need to steal a lunar rover. The 4 boys begin to plan to steal a rover. They first need to get the garage password. There's a girl named Addison who just arrived from Earth. Her parents are scientists, so she has the garage password. So they bring her into the team and start the mission to steal the rover.
And that's the scene we see at the beginning. The kids climb into the lunar rover, alarms sound nearby.
Due to the incoming meteor shower, the dome will be sealed in 3 minutes.
So the kids have to start the rover immediately and rush out of the garage.
They successfully drive the rover through one gate after another. The vehicle drives onto the lunar surface, with an endless view outside. Caleb recalls his father's words.
The meaning of travel is not in the destination, but in the journey and the companion.
When you reach the destination, you will have changed.
The process of this change is entirely up to you. That is the meaning of travel. They are full of excitement when they're passing by a spectacular base. The atmosphere suddenly becomes serious.
This is the spaceship spaceport. 3 days later, Caleb will depart from here. They fall into silence until Marcus's timer buzzes. He has a heart condition and must take medicine on time, or he'll die.
Marcus takes his medicine, and the vehicle arrives at a massive complex. It's a sight no one has seen before.
Caleb remembers his father saying, a long time ago, humans intended to turn the moon into a paradise and have everyone move here.
But later, they discovered Omega, so the original plan was abandoned, leaving many unfinished cities on the moon. This is one of them. The children are full of regret and deeply shocked. Is there such architecture everywhere on Earth? And are there even more incredible things? Addison is the only one who has lived on Earth, introducing weather, rain, thunder, lightning, oceans, and the atmosphere one by one. Others are very envious. They haven't learned these things in school, but mining. The school treats them as miners and makes them mine for generations, so the wealthy can have a continuous source of energy to live comfortably on Omega.
Addison interrupts them.
What do you mean by mining for generations?
According to the mining contract, working for 20 years will allow the whole family to immigrate to Omega.
Others say that's just a conceptual idea. In reality, no matter if you're late, absent, or work delays,
as long as there's a slight problem, the working time significantly extends. What's even more outrageous is that the son has to pay off the father's debt. For example, if the father owed 6 years of work when he died, the son has to work for 20 plus 6 years.
It can be said that this is contract fraud, and very few people can actually immigrate. The atmosphere is a bit heavy.
Caleb suggests they get off and play for a while.
This is their first time walking outside the dome. The moon's low gravity makes the surface like a trampoline.
Addison gazes at the Earth.
She recalls a traditional sport on her home planet, baseball.
But under this gravity,
a hit sends the baseball into space, ending the game. The boys come up with another thrilling sport.
Flying with oxygen tanks. Players spray jets of air towards the ground, propelling themselves into the sky. They also know there's a risk of drifting into space, so they intentionally tie themselves with ropes. The rope is really strong and can bear their weights. Addison initially felt it was dangerous, but she ended up being the first to play. The boys watch her flying in the sky, feel very interesting and want to try.
The other boys follow. They play really happy. But soon an accident occurs.
When Borny was playing, the rope loosened. He flew into the sky and uncontrollably propelled by the oxygen tank. He can't reach the knob to turn off the oxygen bottle. Other boys also take off with oxygen tanks to rescue him. The first attempt failed, but they keep trying as a team.
They unite.
Finally, they land safely. Now, they can't laugh anymore, because a large amount of oxygen is consumed in the rescue. The oxygen they have is not enough to go to the lunar crater, let alone return to the base. Caleb quickly thinks, there's an abandoned base nearby. Miners used to get supplies there, and there might still be oxygen tanks.
The immigration base is built against the mountain.
After opening the door, the flashlight shines on several pale faces.
Actually, they are humanoid mannequins. This is a display room.
The authority initially planned to sell moon apartments, and the idea was to build each apartment like this.
Here it has a life support system. They can breathe without a helmet.
They initially liked here,
But thinking deeper, it felt like a scam. Just like the 20-year contract.
something that could have been achieved but never was.
They release their anger completely, destroying most of the furnishings. But the oxygen supply. They spend the night here and take enough oxygen from the warehouse to drive back to the dome.
But suddenly, their vehicle breaks down with no warning. They try to fix it, but it didn't help. It cannot be used anymore, and they can only walk.
However, the existing oxygen is only enough to drive back to the dome, not for walking.
Addison quickly sends out emergency SOS signal. Although the dome rescue team will heavily penalize them later, at least they can be saved.
And the dome is currently sealed. The rescue team has to wait for the lockdown to end before they can depart.
Before that, they can go to the lunar crater,
Fortunately, it's not far from here, within walking distance.
so they decide to go there happily.
When they almost arrive, Caleb recalls a request from his father.
He said that if anything happened to him, Caleb must go to the lunar crater.
He must find a stream in the lunar crater.
It was split into two, and Caleb should take that path. Caleb is confused.
He doesn't understand what accident his father is referring to, or what the stream is. His father assures him that he will understand in the future.
Soon the lunar crater is right in front of him, with a glowing entrance.
Upon entering, he finds himself in an underground hall.
But there's only a withered tree here. Addison has been to a similar room before.
So she searches for clues.
As expected, there is a secret mechanism on the wall, and opening it reveals a holographic projection.
The light and shadow suddenly change. The withered tree blooms, the sun rises, and the hall becomes vibrant. This is what Earth looks like. Even ordinary scenes are like heaven to children growing up on the moon.
While other children are fascinated by the scenery, Caleb is reminiscing about his father's advice.
Finding the river.
When he arrived,
The beautiful scenery created by the holographic image disappears. A dark tile is revealed underground. Caleb lifts it and discovers a happy photo of his parents and his mother's ashes.
Caleb understands his father's intention. He wanted his ashes to be buried with his mother after his death. Caleb has been carrying his ashes with him. So, he places the ashes in the urn and takes the photo. Dylan sees him feeling down and comforts him, saying that his father's spirit in heaven will surely be pleased.
But Caleb contradicts him, saying that Dylan doesn't understand.
Because his father didn't accidentally die.
It was a deliberate suicide. When his father first came to the moon,
He believed that with hard work, the whole family could immigrate.
however, his mother fell ill and he had to take a leave of absence. This left Caleb with decades of labor debt.
Instead, if he died on duty, it would secure compensation for Caleb.
He had no choice
But to deliberately seek death and pretend it was an accident. Dylan still encourages Caleb. The past is in the past.
everything his father did was to let Caleb to go to Omega.
Everyone hopes that you can go, because it's also our wish. We hope you can do it for everyone. Caleb don't know what to say. Suddenly, Marcus weakens and collapses.
But the medicine is on the moon rover.
The group returns to the lunar surface.
A meteor shower has arrived, bombarding the surface like artillery fire.
At this point, they can only take the risk and continue forward. They run to the moon rover.
But when they look back, Edison is scared by the meteor shower and hides in cover, frozen in place.
Dylan can't help but laugh. As soon as he finishes laughing, he is hit by the meteor shower and cracks his helmet.
Fortunately, everyone has sealant on them and manages to bring him back to the moon rover.
Outside the rover, the meteor shower continues. Although it won't damage the moon rover, it makes it impossible for them to go outside.
The biggest problem is no longer the meteor shower, but the lack of oxygen. They can only hope that Edison's SOS signal has been received by the dome area. Perhaps the rescue team will arrive soon.
They are running out of oxygen and gradually falling asleep. Caleb vaguely sees the sunrise and hears the sound of the rescue team.
But he can't open his eyes. When Caleb wakes up, he finds himself in a clean environment.
The caregiver congratulates him on successfully completing a 75-year journey.
They have arrived at Omega.
After he fell asleep, the mining facility directly transported him onto the transport spacecraft. Caleb can't accept that moments ago he was with his friends, and now he's on another planet while his friends have likely aged or passed away. The caregiver understands and gives him an audio recording.
It's a compilation of messages from his friends sent over the past 75 years from the moon.
The first recording is from when Caleb had just departed, his friends expressing their nostalgia for him. Later on, the friends have grown into young adults.
Dylan and Addison have become a couple.
Later, everyone is working. Addison persistently fights to stop the mining facility's deceptive contracts. Dylan also proposes to Addison and start a family, bringing positive changes.
Everything is getting better. And the reason for everyone's positive change is the day of their childhood,
when Caleb led them out of the dome and showed them how beautiful the world could be.
In reality, they were also changing Caleb, listening to their achievements. Caleb is filled with anticipation to embark on another journey.
This journey is called life. All right, that's it for today.
Thank you for watching Happy Movie.